Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. I hope everybody's back. I do apologize. There are technical issues, nothing really from global technical issues, not our issues really. Unfortunately, our providers, this is the issue, which is something which is beyond our control, inshallah. We are trying to do our best. Alhamdulillah, the media team is doing their best to try and actually overcome these issues. So may Allah reward them. Right, the question that I put forward to you before, okay, was about bananas. Okay, so what will you say? You have the skin of the banana and the fruit of the banana. If that person, if you see any of your household, even if you see your children and they have the skin of the banana, what will you say to that person? So now give me a reply. Have you given the reply? So what would be the reply that you'd be given? You have the skin of the banana and you have the actual banana itself. And if a person just eats the banana, skin of the banana, what would you say to that person? So if you can give me your answers, that would be good, please. So we're talking about the banana, and we're saying that there is a skin of the banana and there is a fruit of the banana. What will you say to the person who actually just eats the skin of the banana? What would you say to that person? So if you can just give your response, that'd be good. Skin has some nutrients, but the fruit is really beneficial. MashaAllah, that's a very good answer. MashaAllah, Budakhtar. Alhamdulillah, that is correct. Is that the skin has some nutrients and there is some benefit. But what would you literally say to that person if he starts taking the fruit off and just eats the banana? Where's the main benefit? Where will the main benefit? It's in the fruit of the banana. The main benefit is in the fruit, not in the skin. So the skin is like a protector of what? The fruit itself. You can peel, the skin can go all mucky and dirty and filthy, etc., but the fruit is actually kept preserved. So similarly for us to understand, that's like fasting. For us, fasting is that we're stopping from eating and drinking, but the kernel is that thing that you're all talking about, taqwa, and to attain the thing called taqwa, and the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, having communion with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, being present with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that's the kernel, that's the fruit of the fasting. So what about prayer then? You see that person like we were talking before, that person who's doing ruku and sujood, is bowing, he's praying 5 times a day, she is praying 5 times a day, because we understand that establishing prayer means, yeah, he's a 5-time namazi. That means he's established prayer. So we think this is the person who established prayer. So he's praying, she's praying 5 times a day, they're going down, ruku, sujood. But what's happened? That person has a vicious tongue. That person does zulm with somebody else. That person defrauds. That person is actually going to places not supposed to go to. So this doesn't mean, by knowing this, it means is that the fast, he's adopted the outward, like that person who's eating the skin of the banana, he's not really attained the kernel, the spirit, the fruit of salah, the fruit of actually prayer. And the spirit of prayer, the kernel of prayer. And what we said in the previous session of the introduction, we said that salah is supposed to be mi'raj of a mu'min, ascension of the believer. If we're not ascending in salah, how can we possibly ascend to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala out of salah? So let's see what is this thing that we're doing wrong? What is that we're not understanding? So how can we actually establish the prayer? The reality is that it is a training salah is meant to be a training to drive your life. Drive the obstacles, the problems, the issues, the scenarios that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts you in. Salah is supposed to guide you and drive you in the life. How to navigate to your destination, which is the rida of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Salah is a guide on how to live your life. How to navigate and how to live your life. It wasn't supposed to be this ritualistic bowing and sitting and saying salam and sending salawat and so on. It wasn't meant to be this. Not ritualistically. Some of us are ritualistically offering the 5 prayers. Some of us are ritualistically offering the 5 daily prayers. Ritualistically going, bowing and sitting and doing sujood and so on. That is the outward form. This is a ritual. We made it into ritual. But the salah was supposed to do what it's supposed to do, was supposed to guide me, was supposed to train me, was supposed to nurture me in my life to achieve the destination, which is the rida of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's what it's supposed to do. And if it's not doing, my dear brothers and sisters who are listening, if it's not doing that, and you can feel it's not doing that, then know this, don't blame the salah. There's nothing wrong with the prayer. The prescription is perfect. The prescription is wonderful. It's me and you, we haven't learned how to offer that prayer and how to take lesson from it, so establish that into my life. If anyone analyzes the different portions of prayer, reminding me and you what we should be doing outside of prayer. So we're going to go into different postures. How does the postures, how does all the movement within the prayer help me out of prayer? And that's what we're going to go into a bit more detail. So let's begin. Let's begin. First and foremost, we make intention. Everybody will know intention. You have in fiqh, in Hanafi fiqh and others, is that you have shart and arkan, okay? There are fara'id, the farz outside of the prayer, and there are farz within the prayer. There's farz outside of the prayer and there are farz within the prayer. Fara'id. One of the things that you need to know is that intention, niyat. Niyat durust karna, to make intention is pivotal. But what does intention mean for me and you? What is it? So we begin salah with intention by doing it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Likewise, when you say that you're doing salah for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the salah is telling you whatever good, whatever deeds that you do, make the intention that you're doing it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Just by beginning salah, that we make the inni wajjahtu wajhi lillahi fatara samawati wal ardi hanifan wa ma kana minal mushrikin. Then we say, I intend to pray 2 rakats, for example, Fajr prayer, facing the Qibla, for his pleasure. Behind the Imam, Allahu Akbar. That's what we're saying, isn't it? That's the niyyat that we make. So for the pleasure, so the salah is telling me and you that even with the intention that whatever good deeds that you do, whatever amals that you do, whatever action that you do it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for His pleasure. Are you doing that? Does it remind you that? So every 5 times a day, imagine this, that like I said before, is that 5 times in the day, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling you, is come my servant, come and refresh and remind yourself how you're supposed to live. Come and remind yourself what you're supposed to do. Come and remind yourself how you're supposed to interact with me. Come and remind yourself how you're supposed to have the intimacy with me. It's like a mini course for 5-10 minutes. We go on this mini course of offering the prayer. When we offer the prayer, when we're actually going and start praying the salah of Fajr or Dhuhr or Asr or Maghrib or Isha, it's like a mini course of reminder, of refreshing, of energizing, of intimacy, of love, of connection, of all of those things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying now go away out of salah and put that into your life. Go away out of salah and put that into your life. Go away from salah and put this into your life. So the first thing, by making intention, what we're doing is that it's telling me and you that you do all your amals and deeds, good deeds for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is what you're doing. Then what do you say? After making it, you raise your hand and say, Allahu Akbar. Now, because of the shortage of time, I'm going to try and actually go through this as quickly as possible. Is that you're saying, Allahu Akbar. Raise your hand, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allahu Akbar. Allah is the greatest. That is what we said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the greatest. By saying Allahu Akbar, by saying that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the greatest, when we're in this prayer, now out of prayer, out of salah, we now need to demonstrate that and manifest that truly Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the greatest. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the greatest. We'll discuss this, how to actually do this in a while. So what happens, Salah, when we're doing, we're facing the Qibla, our bodies towards the Qibla, our hands, our feet is towards the Qibla, our face is towards the Qibla. Body, mind, heart, and everything is facing towards the Qibla, direction of the Kaaba. That's what we're doing. Salah, when I'm standing, I've made intention, I'm facing the Qibla, that is what we're doing. By just the notion of the fact that we're standing and we're facing the Qibla, this is already telling me, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Rasulullah is already telling me and you something. What is it? That we need to make sure that we have an aim and objective in life. What is that aim? What is the objective? What is the aim? What is the objective? The aim and objective and purpose in life should be Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is why our body, our mind, our heart, our spirit is all in the direction towards the Qibla, is that everything should be gearing towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His pleasure. That is what Salah is telling me and you. Just by facing the direction, that our whole life is directed by His command and His obedience, that this is what my life is going to be, this is what my purpose will be, and the obedience of the Prophet ﷺ. By facing the Qibla is actually telling me this is how my aim should be, this is my objective should be, that I want to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I want to obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, my objective, my whole life will be geared in that direction. You see, many times we have different purpose and different objectives. Some of us have made education objective. So what happens is that we go to the sphere of going to school, college, university, then researcher, get a PhD, and then we go try and get the best job possible. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. But the primary objective should be Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is secondary. Some of us have made what? Marriage. Finding the most prettiest girl or the most handsome boy and spouse for marriage. And that's the ultimate objective. How they do that? Oh, well, I got to have a house, I got to have wealth, I got to have money, I got to have a good job to impress. So your whole objective now is to attain somebody pretty or somebody beautiful or somebody handsome, so that you can actually have a spouse and be married. That is your objective. Again, there's nothing wrong with that. But that shouldn't be your primary objective. That shouldn't be the thing that drives you. Some of us have made, for example, status, right? I want the best job. I want a job being a CEO of a company. And you made this the objective. Again, khair, good. Nothing wrong with it. But it shouldn't be your primary objective. So do you understand what I'm trying to say? Is that when every time we come for prayer, our body, our mind, our hearts is actually in the direction of the Kaaba. And here is now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Rasulullah is telling me that your aim, your objective, your goal should be towards me. Your primary aim, your primary objective should be me and obedience to me and my pleasure. That's your primary. Everything else is secondary. Money, wealth, health, materialistic things, it's all secondary. Because why? You've heard this many times. Many times. Why? Why we're saying this is because you can lose your job. You can lose your job, definitely. You can lose a job, but you can get another job. You can lose the rishta, and you can get another rishta. You can lose a potential spouse, and you can get another potential spouse. You can lose a husband, you can lose a wife, you can lose a mother, you can lose a father, you can lose children, you can lose business, you can lose wealth, you can lose even your status, you can lose your position. You can lose all of these things, but you can always get it back. But if you lose Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then you have nothing. You have no one. Who can compensate for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? No one. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can compensate for everything and anything. He is the one who can compensate for anything and everything. You lose, those of you who are so beloved, those of you who love your wife, and many of us, for example, your loved ones, those of you who lost loved ones through this, even the COVID virus and through this pandemic, or maybe through natural causes, or maybe through anything, you feel the hurt, you feel the grief. But the one who can comfort you really, truly is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And He can always give that comfort of that person you lost into somebody else or someone else. Or He can compensate that Himself without the need of anyone. That is the most beautiful thing. That job you lost, He can give you another job. The wealth that you lost, He can give you more wealth, even more. His treasure is vast. His treasure is vast. You failed the exam, don't worry, He can help you to pass the exam. All that Allah is saying by us standing, facing the Kaaba is, make me the primary objective. Make me your focus. Make me your aim. That is what Salah is telling me when you're facing the Qibla. We make faces to a different direction in life. Money, wealth, fame, name, power, etc., etc. Women and so on. But this should not be the primary direction. These are things that should be made the purpose of our life, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala exalted should be the purpose of life. Then what happens is that we raise our hands. We raise our hands and say Allahu Akbar, we said Allahu Akbar. Like I said before, up to the 11th we say Allahu Akbar. As we're saying Allahu Akbar, is that when we made the intention, we're facing the Qibla and we raise our hands saying Allahu Akbar, what does this signify? You're raising your hands, Allahu Akbar. What are you doing? Is that you are literally, what happens when, now here is that when the police is raise your hands, you raise your hands. What does that mean? Surrender. This is a sign of surrendering. Ya Rabbal Alameen, I surrender to you. I am a criminal, I am a mujrim, I am a slave, I have actually sinned, I have actually tarnished myself and others. Ya Rabbal Alameen, I say Allahu Akbar, Ya Rabbal Alameen, I surrender to you. I surrender to you. So when a police orders the criminals to raise their hands, it's a sign to say I surrender. When myself and yourself would raise our hands, Salah is telling us that we should submit to Allah Azza wa Jal. And He truly is the truest, really is the truly the greatest being to surrender to. So Salah, when we surrender, we're raising our hands as Salah. So you are surrendering. You are saying, Ya Rabbal Alameen, I surrender my intellect, I surrender my heart, my mind, my body to you and your obedience. That is what I'm doing. Many times we try to think, what could this mean? For example, a lot of us are trying to understand this issue with the pandemic. Why has it come? Some of us are saying, oh, it's really bad. Some of us are saying, oh, it's really, really not right. How can Allah SWT do this? Surrender. Surrender the mind, surrender the heart is beyond our understanding. Yes, we can maybe put some things together beyond our understanding. All me and you need to know, is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only wishes khair and goodness for us. Even though for me and you, it seems that something that you think is good for you really is bad for you. Something that you really want and that you really want it, but really in the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it is bad for you. And something which is really for you is bitter, it doesn't taste right. For example, we're in this lockdown, we're in this pandemic, we're in this position where we've never faced in our life before. We're in this position where we've never been before. But what's happening is that we are now losing ourselves. We're thinking, why is this happening? It's bitter for us. It's hard for us, especially if you're having to wait 45 minutes just to get a milk or maybe cheese or bread. It's very difficult. I understand. It can be difficult. But in there is khair for us. In there is khair. Digressing a little bit. Is that, yes, it's bitter for us, but in the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is good for us. Now imagine, let's say for example, let's take the issue of us standing in the queue, waiting our turn to go inside. You may be thinking, well, why is that? But at least what's happened is that there's order now. There's no chaos. There's no rush. There's no pushing and shoving. Nobody dictating, I am superior to you. Oh, I should go ahead of you. Sometimes you go to the cash and carries, what's happened? A person has been waiting 10 minutes in the queue, and what happens? No offense to all those takeaway workers and bosses and restaurant workers and bosses and other big people who got big orders. What happens? They overcome and they go ahead of the queue and say, excuse me, sir, my food, get it here, get my stuff, here you go, here's the money, and go ahead of everybody. Oh, I'm in a rush, I'm in a rush. That's not fair. Many times you've experienced it, you say, it's not fair, I've been waiting here. But what's it doing now? The pandemic is telling you there's a queue, wait for your queue, and then everybody gets to actually get served at the time that they came. Nobody skipping the queue, nobody going ahead of the queue, nobody abusing the queue. Everybody is now maintained. Tartib and order. That is what's happening. There's tartib and order. This is the beauty. Allah SWT loves tartib. Allah SWT loves order. And by us demonstrating that we're able to actually be patient and not be like animals and cattle and fight over food, but rather we'll be patient. We will get our stuff and we'll come. Doesn't that look beautiful? Isn't that what humanistic quality should be? That we are actually calm, methodical, going in, getting the necessary food and coming out. Where normally what we'll be doing, go in. And alhamdulillah, what's happened nowadays is that even one of the benefits for us male is that our sisters, and this is no offense to our sisters, is that the shopping time has really drastically reduced as well, alhamdulillah. The shopping time is now go in, get the necessary stuff and come out. Before it'd be, let's go into Asda, let's go to Sainsbury's, let's go into Tesco, and all this. And what's happening is that, oh, what is here? Oh, what is here? Oh, what is here? Oh, what? So 3 hours is spent when we need to spend just 5 minutes maybe. So alhamdulillah, it's drastically reduced the shopping time for our sisters and also our brothers, is that you just get the necessary stuff and you come out. Because why? You spent that long time inside the queue, you're too tired now, you just want to go home. So alhamdulillah, and this is just a mosaic, no sisters taking an offense from that as well. Yes, the shopping time is drastically reduced, alhamdulillah. So husband and wife, when they go shopping now, they enjoy it. They like going. Why? The husband is saying is that, alhamdulillah, this is what I like to do, just get the necessary stuff and just come out again. There you go, alhamdulillah. And this we're not, also his money has been nicely saved up and it's in the pocket as well. Anyway, that's just an aside. So here is that the tartib. Whenever we think something is bad for us, we think that, oh, this doesn't look right. But in the knowledge of Allah, it's actually something good for us. We don't understand. So we may not like it, but it's actually really good for us, beneficial for us. So here is that pandemic is here, situation we're put in is difficult, but what's happening is that it may be difficult, but in that there's khair, in that there's goodness. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is training me and you for a greater purpose, a greater thing that we cannot understand. But think positive. Think positive. So what happens is that the moment we say Allahu Akbar, is that, like I said before, is that now is the time that out of Salah you now need to demonstrate. You now need to demonstrate to Allah Azza wa Jal, to everyone, and show to everyone, manifest to everyone that Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala is truly the greatest. Demonstrate with that, with your hands. So the hands, which is now closed together, put together on your belly, below the navel, you put your hands together. Can the hands wave, punch, kick? Well, actually, the hands can't kick, actually. It's actually the hands, they can't kick. I don't know, maybe it's a kung fu kick, you could have to do with the hands. Kung fu chop, should I say. You can't do that. The hands in Salah, if you see somebody doing that, you think he's gone pagal, he's gone crazy. You think he's gone, no. What are we trained? We are told to keep our hands tight in the confinements. Not to actually even hurt. Even the elbows shouldn't be hurting and causing discomfort to somebody else. Imagine, Salah in itself is that try to not cause discomfort to others. Keep your hands to yourself. You can't fidget. You can't start doing something else. At that moment, your hand is under control. At that moment, what else is happening? Your eyes are under control. Your tongue is under control. You can only recite. You can only recite the kalam of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and do the tasbih and hamd. So here, by hands being tightly together, is actually been, just like in prayer, you can't move your hands in any direction, pointing fingers, etc. So the salah is telling the outside of salah, outside of prayer, your hands should not be doing anything against the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No fraudulent activities, no pointing fingers, no accusations with the hands. You should not be doing anything. You should not be possessing something from somebody else unlawfully. That is what the message of the salah is telling. When we actually put our hands together closed, it's telling you that control. This is how you're going to establish salah in your life out of prayer. That direction and purpose, that demonstrate Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the greatest, that you are now learning that my hands should not be doing anything which is against the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. My hands should not be actually now doing any fraudulent activities. My hands should not be possessing wealth unlawfully. My hands should not be now taking the property unlawfully. That's the hands. It's teaching me and you how we can actually learn to do that. Feet. Feet are also facing towards the Kaaba, the Qibla. They're not facing east and west. They're not facing north and south. The feet, the direction of the feet is also facing towards the Kaaba. What is that telling me and you? Hands are now straight, are tucked below the belly. Feet is actually also facing the Qibla. What is that telling me and you? That they're not facing east and west. They're not allowed to step ahead of the Imam even. If the feet goes ahead of the Imam, then his salah is null and void. So you're not allowed to even go ahead of the Imam. Your salah is null and void. So salah is reminding that you should use your feet to go to good places. Your direction should only be towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, good places. The place that reminds you of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. That is what the feet is telling you. Strive towards good deeds. That is what salah is telling you. Strive towards good deeds. And the most important is don't step. For example, the Imam, if you go ahead of the Imam, if your feet goes ahead of the Imam, your salah is null and void. Don't step ahead of the boundaries that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has set. Do not go ahead of those boundaries. There's a boundary, the hudud of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's a limit of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed on me and you. We should not be going ahead of those boundaries. It should be said. So this is what feet, the direction of the feet, behind the Imam, straight off, feet is facing toward the Kaaba. The feet is telling me and you is don't go beyond the boundaries. That is where your salvation lies. Just like the salah is kept alive, the moment your feet goes ahead of the Imam, you goes ahead of the Imam, the feet of the Imam, your salah becomes null and void, i.e. is that to save your prayer, you stay behind the Imam if you're doing in Jama'ah. If now me and you, to save ourselves, we need to now stay within the confines, not go beyond the limits of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, His command. Stay within it, well behind it. That is what salah is doing. So out of salah, you've learned that I cannot go ahead of the Imam. The feet can't go ahead of the Imam. You've learned that he has to be straight. Out of salah, your feet should also be going to good places, righteous places. Your feet should be actually also behind the boundaries that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala set and not go across those boundaries. That is how we're going to establish salah into our life. That is how we're going to be demonstrated that truly Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the greatest. By my hands, with my feet. Gaze. Where are your eyes gazing towards? Where are they looking towards? I apologize, there's supposed to be more details. I'm actually trying to actually get through, and I appreciate the fact that you've been waiting a while as well. Due to the technical issues, we're coming closer to the time of finishing. So I will try and get through as quickly as I can, so bear with me. So far what we've gone is that we've talked about what? Intention. We talked about raising the hands. We talked about folding the hands. We've also talked about the feet. Now, What we're doing? Gazing. We're gazing. Eyes are gazing on the place of sajda, ears are listening to the recitation of the Quran. Tongue is reciting, praising. You are what? Looking at the place of prostration when you're gazing. Your eyes are lowered. Salah is telling me and you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling me and you that, oh people, is that when you actually go out of Salah, you'll have all these beautiful sceneries, billboards, and so on. Wonderful scenery, gadgets, cars, and so on. Beautiful cars, all those attractions that your eyes will be mesmerized and dazzled, and it'll be so beautiful to you. In Salah, where is your eyes focused? The eyes are focused in the place of sajda. In other words, is that if a person, for example, if you see a person, he's in Salah, say Allahu Akbar, and he starts doing this. Oh look, that's a nice mirror. Oh look, that's a nice deco. Oh look, this is a very nice fan. Oh, that's a nice plant. Oh, that's a nice, oh, I didn't see this chandelier, it's beautiful, this. What would you say to that person? He's going mad. Again, you think he's going mad. What is he doing? You think that, are you doing namaz? Are you doing salah? Are you doing something else? That is what you're going to be thinking, isn't it? Is that the person's gone mad? He's not. He's supposed to be looking. He should be praying. He should be concentrating. But where is his eyes going? Oh, that's a very nice mihrab. Oh, that's a very nice minbar. Oh, look. And some of us do, unfortunately. Those of you who've been in Jamaats and we pray saying prayers, some of us have the tendency when they say Assalamu alaikum, they need to see who's actually there. Assalamu alaikum. Okay, he's here. And then when they say Islam to the left or right, and then they need to see who's that person as well. So this is also like the people like to actually do this. But no, Salah is telling me and you, the eyes should be focused, gaze. There are different points. When you're actually when in Qiyam position, you look towards the point of sajda. When you ruku, your eyes are gazed towards your toes, or your feet. When in jalsa position, sitting position, what are you supposed to be looking at? You're supposed to look at your laps. Beautiful. Training. In Salah, your gazes are concentrated in different parts of different places and different parts. But it's never told to gaze left or right or above or anything like that. Because why? It doesn't befit. But it's always lowered. Humbled and lowered. Why? Because you worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as though you are seeing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as though you're seeing Him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is looking at you, that's how you're supposed to worship. Similarly, when you are actually out of prayer, lower your gazes. Control those eyes. Don't look at the billboards. Don't look at the na-mahram. Don't get fascinated by those cars, by those fancy gadgets, by those luxuries that you're seeing of the dunya. These are all temptations. Lower your gaze. Control them. For example, you're fixed at point of sajda. If you are married, your eyes should only go towards your wife, not towards other sisters. Vice versa. If you are, for example, a person who loves to see scenery and so on, your gaze should be gazing towards the scenery, but it's taking it towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That this is the artist that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created, how wonderful, how beautiful this is. So here, learn how to control those gazes and don't make them look haphazard towards the beauty of the world. Take them back. But also by learning how to lower your gazes, looking at this point of sajda, you see, that's the beauty. If you read the Shamal of the Prophet ﷺ, he would seldom look up. That's the beauty of the Prophet ﷺ. He's such humility. The manifestation of Diya was in Rasulullah ﷺ, is in Rasulullah ﷺ, and he exemplified how a servant should be. That he even, they seldom they say that he is so shy to look up that is like a virgin girl wouldn't look up. He ﷺ would seldom look up to people. And if he does look up, it'll be like a glance. Always having his gaze down. Because why? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is seeing him. He's living his life as though Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is seeing him constantly. That's the beauty of the Prophet ﷺ. Me and you should be living that life. Have you not seen those people who walk, even when you're driving, not seen those people? that those people who have their eyes is down, gaze is down, there's some beauty about it. That you can tell that there's some beauty about it. They've got their eyes fixed down on the ground, they're walking. There's a beauty, there's an elegance about it. So here Salah is telling me that control your gazes. Keep them lowered. Don't look haphazardly in different places. Listen to the Imam and your recitation. Salah is telling me, just like in prayer, when the ears are listening to, attentive to the call of the Imam, whatever says Allahu Akbar, Sami Allahu liman hamdah, and you're going and buying, you're following the commands, is that the recitation he makes, he should, outside of Salah, pay attention and be alert to the commands of Allah and the Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and not listen to idle talk, gossip, backbiting, and so on and so on. You don't listen to any of that. All those different things that this, oh, did you hear about Ali? Yeah, what happened? Yeah. Oh, did you hear about this? No. This is all gossip. You don't want to listen to that. Allah has told you to listen, you don't listen to that. Gossip? No, I don't listen to that. I just listen to the command. Whatever the instruction is, I listen to that. Whatever goodness somebody says, I take that and move on. Also, tongue, what is it doing? The tongue is what? Is reciting the kalam of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this tongue, when it's just allowed to, what is it allowed to do? If you talk anything, for example, even if you were to say something like, for example, Yarhamukullah, when somebody sneezes intentionally, Alhamdulillah, Yarhamukullah, and all these other things, your salah can break. However, what are we limited to? Our tongue is limited to praise of Allah, the kalam of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that's it. And any du'as which the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has prescribed to us. Any du'as, salawat. You know, only goodness is trained, only good and praise and takbir, tahmeed and all these and salawat on the Prophet is actually ordained for us to actually do within the prayer. Anything else is not allowed, it'll break your prayer. Even if you say ooh or ah due to pain, it can break your salah. If you say it loudly, it can break your salah. Even if you were to laugh, if you do a lull, as I say, if you do a laugh out loud in prayer, your salah will break. So salah is training my tongue to only what? Praise Allah, recite the Quran, send salawat upon the Prophet ﷺ, and make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Out of salah, watch what the tongue does. Be watchful. It should be only really doing good and not harming. This tongue can be as sharp as a sword. It can pierce through people's hearts. It can slice people's hearts. It can cut ties. It can actually destroy relationships. But if you now control it and only speak when it's necessary, only speak what is due, only speak what is right, only speak what is truthful, only speak what Allah and His Messenger has ordered me to speak, then this tongue has established salah out of salah. This tongue is not backbiting, this tongue is not slandering, this tongue is not gossiping, this tongue is not doing what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told not to do. It's doing what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told not to do. It's trained now. It's established. So one is that you've established your intention, you got your aim and purpose. Number two, what's happened is that you have now saying takbir, you are acknowledging Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the greatest. Now you're going to demonstrate that to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and everybody else out of salah. Number three, we've said about the folding of the arms. Your hands shouldn't do anything against the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Your feet shouldn't do anything against the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Your ears, your eyes should be controlled and should be listening against the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Your tongue, all of the essential organs of the body, in other words, should be demonstrated now, should be demonstrating out of prayer. Your eyes, your ears, your tongue, your feet, your hands, your private parts, all these organs of the body out of prayer should be demonstrating that truly, Ya Rabbal Alameen, you are the greatest. Even when you're putting your hands near the belly, near the belly. Where is it? It's the stomach. That only pure food, pure intake of food you'll actually take in, not haram foods. Below the belly is that there, my sister and I, whatever food that I earn with my hands, it's only going to be pure halal food. Tayyib. Pure halal food is only not haram. I'm not going to earn my wealth in haram ways. That is putting what emphasis? You're putting what on your stomach. Only halal income, halal earned food will go inside my stomach. Nothing else. Reminding you, that is where your rizq should be coming through whatever you earn. So we've gone through the posture of qiyam. We've gone through the posture of holding their hands. We've gone through the posture of recite. Now we're going to go to the posture of bowing. So before we move any further, because I think you're all falling asleep, aren't you now? Yes? Yes, you're falling asleep. So now tell me, what does intention, what can we do? How does Salah teach us about that? What does intention mean? So please now reply back on Facebook if you can tell me, when we make intention, what is Salah telling me? How can we establish Salah into our life out of Salah? What does intention do? I think you are falling asleep because you're obviously not replying. What does intention do? What does intention mean when we make intention, or do I need to repeat that again? Are we getting a reply? Allah is priority. This is good, but mashallah is good, but something else. Well, to make intention to do things for the sake of mashallah, that's good. That's the correct reply. So when we make intention, it means that we do things for the sake of Allah. We're going to do all our good deeds for the sake of Allah. Mashallah, very good reply. That if we give marks at 10 out of 10, well done to that student. Mashallah, shabash. That's a 10 out of 10 for that. Everybody else, you're asleep. Now it's too late now. No, I don't want to, no more, too late now. We're going to stop. First person, they got 10 out of 10. Now you have to wait. You had the chance to have 10 out of 10. Now we can't go anymore now. So there you go. I know you wanted 10. Everybody else, but you need to give the right response as well. You need to be alert. Now, second question. The second question. Mashallah, the answers are right, is correct. Second question. When we say Takbir Allahu Akbar, what does that mean? What is that telling me? What is that telling me and you when we say Takbir Allahu Akbar? Let's see how attentive you are. Come on. Surrendering to Allah, surrendering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'm not surrendering to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes. You say, when you say raise your hand, surrendering, mashallah, you also got a 10 now as well, mashallah, very good. You also give yourself, we have 2 students with 10 out of 10, very good, mashallah, that's very good. So we have good answers there. Leave everything with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes, it's true. But when we make intention, we raise our hands, is that we're saying that we're surrendering. We say, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I surrender, I submit to your command. And what we're also saying by saying Allahu Akbar is that we're saying that Rabbil Alamin, you are the greatest. Now, out of Salah, we're going to show that He's the greatest. Okay, third question. Now, who else is going to get a 10? So we have 2 students, mashallah. Give yourself a pat on the back and you get a lot of stars. You have 10. Now, third question. Third question is, this is a trickier one. Okay. How does the eyes gazing down and the ears listening help out of Salah? What is that message Salah is telling me out of Salah? So when we have our eyes, is what? Looking to a sajda, a place of sajda, and our ears listen to the command of the recitation of the Quran. How does that help out of Salah? to lower your gaze from worldly stuff. MashaAllah, that's good. You also have a 10. MashaAllah, that's good. Lower control 7. Yes, very good. I think you all want 10 now. Everybody's giving me good response now. Everybody's giving the full answer. MashaAllah, you all get 10 out of 10 now. MashaAllah, very good attendees. MashaAllah, you all got 10 out of 10. MashaAllah, very good answers. Very good, MashaAllah. So I think there's one person. So this is all of them are very good answers. MashaAllah, that's good. Keep within the hududs. Everything in the salah so far we discussed about intention. We discussed about our body facing towards the qibla. We talked about our raising our hands. We talked about saying takbir. We also talked about folding our hands. We talked about our eyes, but it's gazing towards. We talked about our ears when it's listening to the recitation. Our tongue reciting the kalam. Now we're in the bowing position. How does the bowing position actually help? How does the bowing position help with the recitation of, with the establishing salah into your life? So if we now look at the presentation here, is that what happens in ruku, when we go into ruku, our back is lowered, we grip our kneecaps, we're gripping them, and our eyes are looking towards the toes between the feet, the gap between the feet. So your back is level and it's halfway between what? The standing position, the qiyam position, and also the sajda, prostration. So it's halfway in between. It's halfway from standing and prostration. From qiyam and sajda, it's halfway. The qiyam represents dunya. The standing position represents dunya. And the sajda represents Allah and akhirah. Salah is telling you and me that you have to have a balance between dunya and akhirah. That is what salah is saying. It's saying that we need a balance. So some of us are going too extreme to one, and some of us are going too extreme on the other. So salah is telling me and you is that when you are in ruku, is that balance in dunya is when you have both the dunya and also the akhirah. Like the Prophet said, is that they said to our beloved teacher, they mentioned is that the best person is when he has a portion of dunya and a portion of akhirah. He has that both in balance. That is the best person. Here is that when you have dunya and akhirah in balance, that is truly is when we've actually achieved what salah wants us to do. How we establish salah into our life. So balance between dunya and akhirah. And what is that balance? Is that by holding the kneecap, balancing the way and gripping the kneecap, is that we grip onto the sunnah. There's no other way. Balance, middle way, the middle ground, the moderation as defined by Islam and Sharia is none other than the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. By following him, his lifestyle, his way, that is where mine and your balance will lie. That is the balance. The moderate way, the perfection in life is the way of the Prophet ﷺ. That is the balanced way. No other way. So when you're going to now, next time you're going to ruku, know that this is telling me I need to bring balance into my life. So when you're outside of prayer, outside of salah, now you need to look. Am I so much delving into the dunya? Am I actually going towards the dunya and forgetting about akhirah? Am I so much in the dunya that I've forgotten about Allah and His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Am I actually fulfilling the commands that He's told me to do? Am I following the sunnah? Have I brought that into my life? Or am I following other ways and other lifestyles? Other symmetries, other ideologies? His is the balanced way. His is the perfection. Like nowadays, for example, the COVID situation even the distancing of people between, when we're at the supermarkets and bazaar, keep a 2-meter distance. This was taught to us 1400 years ago by the Prophet ﷺ. Is that when when there is illness like this, then keep a distance of a spear's length, the 2 meters length. But we're not going to show appreciation to the Prophet ﷺ. We'll show appreciation to the scientists because they're telling us that we should keep that distance. See how folly it is that, yes, I'm not saying we don't follow scientists, but you got to understand is that we don't know what Allah and His Messenger told us. We're so ignorant of that. Hence why we cannot appreciate them. So the more we come to know what the Prophet ﷺ, his blessed ways, blessed conduct, whether we understand it or no, know that this is the balance, this is the moderation, this is khair, this is goodness, his sunnah, his way, his lifestyle. That is the most perfect life that Allah SWT wants me to actually live. I know you're looking at your time, and I'm also looking at the time as well, trying to actually make sure that we actually live in it. Prostration position. Prostration. Your head is and face is on the ground with your feet. Now this is the prostration, inshallah. I'm not going to touch much on this because hopefully our beloved teacher Shaykh Ahmad Dabagh, they will be going through the different levels of prostration in prayer. And they'll go in depth and detail of that. I won't go detail, but know that your head, your intellect, your mind, your beauty, your honor is all here. I'm not very beautiful, don't look at me. What I'm saying is that, alhamdulillah, Allah SWT has created me in the best of forms, alhamdulillah. I do not say that. What I'm trying to say is that beauty, there are much people more handsome as well. There are people more beautiful, whatever. But every single person, their honor is in their face. Their intellect, their mind, their beauty, their position. Their head is what? Their head is the brain. The intellect is like the governor of all the organs of the body. Now what's happening is that this intellect, this brain, this intellect, this mind, this focus, this beauty, this honor is now being told to go and face to the ground and lower it and submit it and put it face to the dust. Humility, humbleness. That is what is telling me and you. Is that Allah SWT is saying is that your head, your face on the ground level and your feet, one should be humble and submissive in life and not arrogant and haughty. The face is the honor of a person. The head is like the crown of the body. You are made to make these touch the land. You are made so that these land that we're doing sajda on, people walk on them. People walk over it, tread on it. You know, my intellect is there to be treaded upon. This is humility. My honor. What is my honor? Nothing. In the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it is nothing. And when I'm out of salah, I submit my intellect, I submit my thought, my beauty, my honor, my prestige, everything to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I submit to Him, I surrender to Him, and I fully humble myself towards Him and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Final sitting position, we're nearly there. Final sitting position, what is Salah telling me in you? Final sitting position, the At-Tahiyyat position, what is it saying to me in you? Is that you are thanking Allah Azza wa Jal and the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam for making prayer for the creation. So here is that you are thanking Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala and the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam making prayer for the creation. That is, outside the prayer, one should be thankful of Allah Azza wa Jal and the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam for all the blessings that is actually bestowed upon us. All whatever we know about Deen, about Islam, about Allah, the commands and so on, is all from the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So sending salawat and durood of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is a way of thanking him. Then what you're doing is that you are making dua. Dua to Allah, that again by praising and thanking Allah, by praising and thanking Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, is that then you're told to make dua. That, oh, Ya Rabbal Alameen, I have submitted my intellect, I have turned towards you, my direction, my life towards you. I have actually demonstrated that you are the one who I should follow, the Rasul is the one I should follow. I have demonstrated that he is the balanced way, he is the moderate way, and I thank you and I praise you, Rabbul Alameen. And I thank and praise, thank Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam for demonstrating and showing us how to do all of this. And I ask you, Ya Rabbul Alameen, please accept and help me to actually fulfill this in my life out of salah. That is what you do in the dua. Then you are further having compassion of the creation by saying salam, that your money, your life, when you say salam, what is the meaning of salam? Listen to this. a beautiful thing which our beloved teacher Shaykh Ahmad Dabagh, they explained. They said is that what is the meaning of salam? When you say assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, especially for men who are actually sitting do jamaat, is that you got brothers and sisters, brothers on your right, and you got brothers on your left, you got imam there. When we say salam, what does it mean? Have we really truly said salam? Once our teacher, Shaykh Ahmad Dabagh, they asked everybody, they said, when we say salam, what does it mean? Have we really truly said salam? We say, Sayyidi, oh Master, we are saying salam. When we say assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, what do we mean? We're giving salam to them and the angels. Yeah, we're giving salam to the imam and the angels and the people who are then the jinnas. That's what we're doing. They said, no, I don't understand what salam is. And listen very carefully. So when you say salam, when we say salam, when we next time have jamaat and we're sitting in jamaat, and maybe you're having jamaat at your home, then know this, the effect of salam is actually there. When you say salam, when you say assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, the meaning of the salam is that, what does salam mean? Peace. Peace be upon you. Peace and mercy be upon you. That's what it means, isn't it? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. You're making a dua that peace and mercy be upon you, O people of the right and the jinnas and the angels, and O people of the left, peace and mercy be upon you as well. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. So our teacher then said, that what does it mean? Is that when you actually say salam, you're making a dua and you're telling them, oh people, I'm telling you now, I'm confessing to you now, is that from now onwards, now that we've completed the salah, now is that salamat, you are free from any evil from me. Your money, your wealth, your honor, your prestige, everything is safe with me. I will not cause any harm to you, and you be in peace, and may be mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be upon you, fall upon you, that I make dua for you that no harm is going to come from me, and mercy and peace descend upon you. That is what salam means. And all people on the left is that no harm will come from me. You are free from any harm from me. You are free from salamat from me, from my evil, from the evil within myself. I will not cause any harm to you through my eyes, through my tongue, through my hands, through my feet, through my power, through my mind, through my heart. With all of these limbs, body, mind, heart, spirit, nafs, with all of these entities, salam is from me. Peace is from me. No harm is going to come from me. And may Allah's mercy fall upon you due to that as well. Have we really, truly given salam to others? This is what our beloved teacher has taught us and told us what salam means. This is what they said. Imagine we've never said salam like this with that meaning. So try to actually actualize that, manifest that into your life, that out of prayer, out of salah, when you go out, no harm should come from you from body, mind and spirit to anybody else. No harm should come to them. No evil should be coming out from them. When this will be acquired, when this will be done, is that if you can adopt all of this that we said, when the actions, the prostration, the rukun, and whatever the teaching of salah is, when this, whatever the way you spend your time in salah, within the salah, manifests itself out of salah, that is when you have really established salah into your life. When the qualities and the way in which you've actually demonstrated and Allah has shown you through the Rasulullah how to offer your prayer, how to be in prayer, and the teaching the prayer is giving you, salah is telling you, when this will then manifest itself out of prayer, my dear brothers and sisters and elders who are listening, is that is when you have established prayer into your life. That is prayer. That is establishment of prayer. So I do apologize, I've run about maybe a few minutes ahead of schedule due to the technical issues. So establishing prayer, this is what it means, is that those teachings of salah, the different postures, the different arkan that we see in prayer, this should be now manifesting us out of prayer. And if it's not, there's nothing wrong with salah. It's the way me and you are offering it and the fact that we're not implementing that. We're not implementing that. So in other words, another way you could see is that Salah, in other words, like we said, is a dua. In other words, the lexical word, the dua means the meaning of dua. Salah is like a dua. Dua, a prayer. The prayer is that hopefully that prayer, you can be a source of prayer to others as well, if you manifest that into your life. That prayer, if you become the manifester of prayer, what does it mean is that your purpose, your life, your goal, aim is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That you're going to exemplify, the prayer is that you're going to exemplify Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is manifest that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the greatest. You're going to exemplify that no harm should come from my essential organ of the body, from my mind, my heart, my spirit. You're going to show that sunnah way, the way the Rasulullah is the moderate way. You're going to bring balance into your life. That is what you're going to be doing. That when all of this is incorporated, manifested within you out of prayer, you become a dua for others, a source of dua for others, a source of guidance for others, a source of peace for others, a source of comfort for others. And this is the person's prayer. This is the person who's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will say, this my servant of mine, I love this person so much, and he brings and raises that status of that person towards his good and nearness. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enable us all to actually benefit and learn and truly implement what does it mean to establish Salah into our lives. So now if you have any questions regarding what we discussed, then please you may ask on Facebook. Please do present your questions. Inshallah, we'll try and actually answer whatever we can. After this, we'll try and have we been able to get the other trainers online to get the feedback, or we're going to... Okay. Inshallah. Now if you have any questions, my dear brothers and sisters, elders, aunties and mothers and fathers who are listening, if you have any questions, I'll try my best to answer regarding the topic that we had. If not, we can always ask our beloved teacher on the time as well. Oh Allah.
Jazakallah khair, Ustad Kes. Mashallah, a very in-depth session on how to establish, rather than just perform Salah, on how to establish Salah, despite all the technical issues we were facing. So as Imam Kes mentioned, if you do have any questions, please post them on the Facebook. So inshallah, they'll be picked up there. And so if you have any questions in relation to the discourse today on how to establish Salah, then please...
okay. We have just one question is that can intention be made in language? Yes, you can make in any language for Salah. Inshallah, that's not a problem. The language that I had is the best, but whatever language, Urdu, Bengali, French, German, Danish, whichever language is easy for you, you can make the intention. Also, another, can one close their eyes whilst praying in Salah? Fiqh Masala is for concentration you're allowed. It's better if you, because the Prophet hasn't kept their eyes open, but once you're in training and for concentration purposes, you are allowed to close your eyes for concentration purposes. If you have, another question has come is that what if you're not able to make some of the positions because of injury? This is all, again, you're not understand the concept. What I said is that there's form and spirit. Is that, yeah, ruku and sujood, it doesn't mean that just because I'm not going ruku doesn't mean I can indicate, do ishara. If I can, for example, if I can't stand, I can sit and offer my prayer. It doesn't mean the spirit of standing is gone. In other words, that qiyam, standing, facing towards the Kaaba, you're still sitting towards the Kaaba, aren't you? So these are all, what I'm trying to say is that the person is asked about if I have an injury and I'm not able to, no problem, no, don't worry about that. What we're saying is the essence of prayer. The essence of prayer, the kernel of the prayer that you should be taking out of Salah, out of the Salah and into your life is that what those now that you know that each posture, each rukn actually means something, you should now take that lesson and now actually put it into practice out of Salah. You should be doing that. So if you are, for example, if you are not able to stand, okay, sit, but the spirit of standing is not goes away. You make an ishara, aren't you? You're sitting, but it means that you're standing. So you take that spirit of that teaching into the next. What is the process of this is not part of the topic. I think, inshallah, there's a process of, here when you're saying what is the process when you make a mistake of forgetting prayer. Inshallah, there's a booklet that we've actually compiled. In that we'll be discussing how to, when you have doubts in Salah and if you missed anything, to forget, do sajda sahv, to compensate in forgetfulness, and so on. We can go into detail of that. Another question, can you adjust your position if during your Salah? I think these are all fiqh questions, that's fine. Can you adjust your position? Yes, you can. If there is pain, you can adjust your position so that you don't feel the pain. There is no harm in that. Can you go through the places to look during Salah, the process? Okay. So for example, when you're actually saying Allahu Akbar, where should the eyes, I think this is what you mean on YouTube, is that where should your eyes be when you're looking? When you're in standing position, your eyes should be towards the sajda. The sajda position. When you're in ruku, it should be in between the feet, where the gap of the feet is the toes, in between that place. When you're in a sajda, believe it or not, is that your eyes should be going towards your nose. Now, if you analyze, and when you're in attayat position, sitting position, jalsa position, when you're sitting in the position, your eyes should be towards your lap. Now, look and ponder. Just hold fire with your question. Just look and ponder a while. The way in which Prophet is training me and you how to actually offer our prayer. Where should our gaze be? When I'm standing, my gaze is lowered. When I'm in ruku, my gaze is lowered. When I'm in sajda even, you think I'm looking towards the ground? No. Again, what's lower than the ground? For example, look, I'm looking towards you. That's equivalent, isn't it? This is lower, isn't it? Lowering, i.e., so in other words, that when I'm in sajda, I should be looking towards my nose even. If further lowering in sajda, imagine the Prophet telling me and you, don't look towards the ground, don't close your eyes, but look towards your nose even. Why? It's lowering even more. Such beauty and such perfection, such a humility and such a detail that the Prophet is telling me and you how to show humility and humbleness towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That even in sajda even, it's obvious we're lowering our eyes, for example, when standing to sajda. In ruku is towards the gap of our feet. In jalsa is actually to our laps. But in sajda, you think, okay, there's the ground, I'm looking to the ground, that's lower. No, Rasul says, go further, even lower, look towards your nose. Don't even look towards the ground. How much more humility and humbleness do you want? He, Sallallahu was a manifestation of humbleness in such a beautiful way. And if we can show a little glimpse of that humbleness into our lives, honestly, we'll be very, very good people. Such wonderful people. But unfortunately, it doesn't have that effect on us because we don't do it like that. I forget the number of rakat. How do I correct my prayer? All of these fiqh issues, really, inshallah, we'll discuss this and maybe the pamphlet, how to offer prayer when you have doubts in Salah, how to do that and how to actually make up mistakes. It'll be in that booklet, inshallah. You can read it and you can go through that. Sunnah ghair muqaddar at the end of the second rakat and tashahhud. Okay, any other questions from it?
We have one brother from India who wants to relate his feedback. Shall we take that now or?
It's completely up to yourselves. If okay, take it.
Yeah. So this is Brother Akib from India, and please can you relate?
We're just going to now take a feedback because it's also question answer, also feedback. We're going to take a feedback from one of the participants who actually performed the muraqabah yesterday, and we're just going to take the feedback now, inshallah.
Yes, but you may start now. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum.
Hello. Walaikum salam.
Yes, brother, you may relate your
Walaikum salam.
you may relate your experience now, brother.
Yeah.
Brother Akib.
In previous, I am doing muraqabah through YouTube video, but I am
Yes. So we have.
So he's finding it difficult.
Allah's name.
Okay. Is this the first time he's doing this?
I do muraqabah with guided, and I found easiness.
So the brother mentioned that he's finding it difficult to visualize the lataifs.
Lataif and the color of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Okay. Okay. Remember this.
From the previous time.
Sorry, what was that, brother? What did he mention? Is this your first time doing the experience?
Okay. Okay. It's a common question that one of the Okay. Okay. One of the things that most of you who are doing this for the first time, this the Lataif cleansing exercise that we were doing yesterday and getting yourself ready, a common theme which is actually coming through, which some of you are saying, is that I'm finding it difficult. I don't see anything. It's blank. It's black, etc., etc. And that's what you're saying. I can't visualize the Lataifs. I can't visualize the name of Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. I am telling you now is that, what do we say? There are three levels of experiences. That what we say is that one is of thought level, one is of imagination level, another is a spiritual. The first is within your control. The first is within your control. So visualizing, imagining the name of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, you can do that. Everybody can do this. For example, I say to you, think of the name of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, think, you can do it. Nothing difficult there, is there? If I say, think of the color red, there you go, red. You can think it. Think color green, there you go. All you're not doing is that you're imagining that name of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala is in green color or red color, light is coming down, you follow that process, you're breathing in, and then you're taking all the way to the whichever color of type you're doing it in, and you breathe out to the back. You can do this. Every single person can do this. No matter who you are, what you are, old or young, you can all do this. With your imagination, faculty of imagination, and from your thought, imagination. You can all do this. Then experiential, the spiritual experience that we're talking about, that is not in your control. Do not worry about that. But you're doing this the first time. First time. So some of you may have certain experience. Some of you feel emotions. Some of you can feel presence. Some of you may see glimpses of colors. I said, don't worry about any of this. It's your first time. I don't expect anything really as such. If somebody is saying they have experienced something, mashallah, I think this is great after the first experience. This is something really that we do as a dedicated thing for 3 days and 3 cycles of 3 days of retreat. So we've just done it for the first time. Have a little bit of patience, inshallah Aziz. Try and actually rest if you have sufficient rest. And then hopefully we're going to have another demonstration at 5 o'clock today. So you have another chance to practice again, 5 o'clock. So I want you to have a bit of a break. 5 o'clock you go, have a rest. 5 o'clock get yourself ready, and then have another go. But visualizing with the power of imagination, thought, you can all do. No matter what, you can all do. You can look at the diagram again, familiarize yourself with the diagram, what the process is, try to understand it. Because what's happening is that now you're probably trying to remember the colors, and remember which color is what. You try to remember how to do what. That's why you're doing a guided tour. You have one of those stars demonstrating and taking you through the different colors, how to go, process of breathing in, what duration to do, when to transfer, where to go, and so on. That's why initially we have a guided session. That's why the ustaz are there to guide you through that. All you got to do is just follow and be patient, inshallah. So don't worry about it. Nobody worry about it, and no one get upset. I just see blank. What is happening to me? Don't worry. It's the first time. It's something that you've never been used to. You're only getting your different faculties to start tuning and start clicking together in unison. Some other question. Yeah. We'll just go to a few questions. Will we be taught the muraqabah of Salah? Yes, inshallah, tomorrow you'll be taught the muraqabah of Salah. When we read Tasbih Salah, Offer practical tips on gaining greater spiritual connection in Salah? Inshallah, the spiritual connection in Salah, hopefully tomorrow you'll learn how to connect even further, and also the communion in Salah, which we're going to do on that series, you'll learn inshallah as is to that. Also later today, Brother Ustaz Harun Asif, he'll be actually going through the spiritual level, different levels of salat, which will help with your devotion and connection, and also intimacy with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as well. One is the outward level, outward way in which we can actually connect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and gain His needs and qurb and concentration, devotion. Another is the spirit, training the spirit to travel. So it's a holistic experience, not just one or the other. So some of your questions will be answered in the later sessions, inshallah. No, I'm following the process. Can you recommend a book? So somebody has asked, is that can yourself give some advice on surrendering one's intellect, as sometimes thoughts come across one's mind, why things happen, what can we do? Is that here surrendering is that it's simple, is that surrendering is that I don't know why this is happening. I've surrendered. Is that the greater power, greater will is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's like, for example, the analogy that Shaykh Ahmad Abagh once used was that for example, if an ant came and the ant looks at the mountain and says, I'd like to actually weigh how much you weigh. I'd like to know how much you weigh. So I want to actually do that. You think this is stupid. He can't even lift a pebble, let alone the mountain. That's how our intellect is in comparison. Not the comparison really, we can't compare anything to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But what I'm saying is that if you actually try to actually understand, is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is beyond our intellect. We cannot understand the wisdom, divine wisdom, why things are done, how it's done, etc., etc. That's why we surrender our intellect. It's beyond. So we say that simple thing is beautiful saying, beautiful statement, like Imam Malik says, I don't know. When you don't know something, you say, I don't know. Simple as that. That's how you surrender it. And you find peace in doing that as well. I don't know what the greater wisdom is, why this has happened, but have a good opinion regarding Allah, that there's something good in there. Definitely, that's for sure. Whether I understand it or not, there is something good in there. Okay. Okay, inshallah, hopefully we've come to 4:26 really already. We need to actually put a stop to this now so that you can get a bit of a break, refresh yourself. Those of you, if you want to have a quick nap, 15 minutes nap, do that, but don't get too much. Make sure you put your timer on and make sure you wake up, otherwise you're going to miss the 5 o'clock session. So be prompt at 5 o'clock so we can have our Muraqabah session, Muraqabah Miraj then again. So cleansing the life and how to actually transfer, inshallah. Jazakallah wa sana jazak. Inshallah, what you actually do.
Now, inshallah, we will have a break up till the next session, which will begin at 5 p.m. instead of the allotted 5:15 p.m. So again, that's the next session will begin at 5 p.m. This session will be a practical session. So if everyone can perform their Salatul Hajat and stay in the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and try not to be distracted, use this time to refresh the body, the mind. Like Ustad Kes mentioned, if you have to lie down for 5 minutes, you may do so. And everyone be at your laptops, computers or phones for 4:50 p.m. For a 5 p.m. start. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.